Salem, Massachusetts, 1936. In the wake of Monopoly's success, Parker Brothers executives were suddenly faced with a problem. Other inventors began to appear, claiming that they were the true source of the game. Students, teachers, and Quakers from Atlantic City stepped forward with their decades-old versions of the board. The game was a gold mine, and the company needed to secure Darrow's narrative as the singular, legally defensible origin story. It was during this frantic period that they discovered the existence of Lizzie Magie's 1903 patent for the Landlord's game. Parker Brothers realized they were sitting on a financial disaster. If Magie's original copyrighted concept was proved to be the basis for Monopoly, their entire claim to the game and Darrow's legitimacy would crumble. The company sent an executive to track down Lizzie Magie, who was still living in Washington, D.C. She was not bitter about Darrow. She was furious that the game, her powerful educational tool, had been stripped of its moral purpose. Parker Brothers' offer to Magie was not justice, it was a bribe. They offered to purchase her original 1903 patent for the Landlord's game and the rights to her subsequent lesser-known games for the insulting sum of $500. This was a small, one-time payment with no royalties. Magie, desperate for a platform to tell her story and promote her Georgist beliefs, agreed to the purchase on one condition: that Parker Brothers would finally publish the Landlord's game, so that her anti-monopoly message could be heard. Parker Brothers agreed, signed the contract, and immediately buried the game. They printed a minimal number of Magie's game, barely marketed it, and let it vanish. Having successfully neutralized the legal threat posed by the original inventor, they continued to promote Charles Darrow as the sole inspired genius who created Monopoly out of whole cloth during a desperate winter. Lizzie Magie had been effectively erased. She died in 1948, poor and virtually unknown, while Charles Darrow retired a multi-millionaire, celebrated as a self-made American icon. The landslide victory. For decades, the lie held. Monopoly became the cultural artifact that Parker Brothers and its parent company, Hasbro, intended. A celebration of ruthless, winner-take-all capitalism, a game perfectly suited to the rising American post-war economy. The secret was not finally revealed by Magie's heirs or by an investigative journalist, but by a legal challenge that changed American intellectual property law. In the 1970s, an economics professor and passionate anti-monopolist named Ralph Anspach invented a board game called Anti-Monopoly. Parker Brothers immediately sued him for trademark infringement, asserting their right to the word monopoly. Anspach fought back, spending 10 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars investigating the game's true origins. He interviewed the surviving Quakers, tracked down Lizzie Magie's original patent filings, and uncovered the entire astonishing history. proving in a California courtroom that Charles Darrow was not the inventor, but a successful plagiarist. The evidence of the Landlord's game and its long popular existence before Darrow's claim was undeniable. In 1983, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against Parker Brothers. They were forced to admit that monopoly was not invented by Charles Darrow. The court acknowledged the chain of invention leading back to Lizzie Magie. It was the final posthumous victory for Lizzie Magie, the radical visionary who had warned America about the dangers of monopoly and who, through a single board game, ultimately exposed the greatest commercial fraud in American history.